The information provided is not a substitute for legal and other professional advice where the facts and circumstances warrant. People should always consult their own legal or other professional advisors and discuss the facts and circumstances that apply to their specific circumstances. The information shared on Ask the Landlord is for educational purposes only.
Today, my question, we're going to get a little inside Albert's brain, hopefully. What's a juicy story you can share with us about your experience as a landlord? Maybe a crazy experience that like no one would know about. Let's hear it.
Well, Melissa, it's being a landlord certainly is, has its dramatic times. You can imagine you deal with so many people, and it's there's a range over the years of situations or whatnot. I can think of so many, but there's a lot. One comes to mind where it was a really it's a good lesson for landlords and for tenants. I was buying this building. I won't say where it is. It was about 40 apartments, and we're in contract to buy it. And for whatever reason, it was like a third vacant. So it had like 15 vacancies or something, or a dozen vacancies. And we said to this seller, we're like, what are you doing? Like, we're supposed to buy a building that's occupied. We're not going to buy the building if has all these vacancies. So, and this was early on. I said to the guy, fill it up.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, okay. So we had a certain deal that he was supposed to fill it up by closing. So I should have been more involved in that process. That was a lesson. He basically didn't qualify the tenants that he had, and he just filled the place.
Oh my God.
So fast forward. So now I buy the place and everything's fine. And all of a sudden, I have people not paying. Okay. So we had to sort through the mess, really, of all these people that weren't paying. One in particular. So the building is an old building. It's like 100 years old, and it has an elevator. And it's one of those elevators that it's a 3-story building. So not like a big deal that it had an elevator, but it had an elevator. And when you have it, that's what people use, to up, because why not, right?
You get lazy.
It's a really old elevator. It's like one of those gates that you close yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't get any elevator companies, to cover the maintenance because it was just like old. And they were like, listen, it's an old elevator. We can't give you like a maintenance contract. You just have to fix it. So, it ran for the most part, and we would have fixes. We fixed it, and then all of a sudden it was out of commission. And I'm like, we just fixed it. Why is it out of commission? And then it kept happening. We fixed it and we go out of commission. We said, oh, we think someone's messing with the elevator.
But why?
So we fix it again, and it's like, it should be working. I get a letter in the mail from one of the tenants. Albert, cut your losses now. Donate the building to me as a Christian gift.
Huh?
What? So this guy was dismantling the elevator.
Why?
In an effort to have me donate the building to him.
What is going on in their brain?
So I'm like, this is like my life. So one crazy tenant is dismantling the elevator and then thinks that I'm going to give in and give him the building as a gift.
40 units in the building, right?
And he's dismantling. So I said, I'm like, okay, this is one of those guys that that I got in that whole debacle. And I'm like, okay. So we know we think he's the guy. So actually, I hired a private investigation firm
Nice.
to surveil
Right.
the
Set up those
elevator,
cameras. Right.
to set up the cameras
Hmm.
and see. And they caught this guy
In the act.
dismantling the elevator.
So then what
And
happens?
then we approached him. We said, "Listen, you're doing this. Here's the proof. We're going to call the police, whatever. You better, get out of here, So so he vacated the property.
All right.
We got him
And
to
you,
vacate, thankfully.
oh my God.
Crazy story. I mean, the guy sends me a letter, donate the building to me. I'm like, what the hell is that?
How
That's
many
insane.
years ago was this?
A long time ago.
Like more, yeah. That's
Like
wild.
15, 20 years ago. Yeah. Crazy
That's what you
story.
get.
So
New York
that's
City, full
where,
of characters.
yeah, that wasn't even, but that's a funny
Oh.
story where, no, it's okay. It's a funny story where, if you don't qualify your tenants properly, and as a tenant also, you want to make sure that the building is the right place for you,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a lesson to everyone. It's like, make sure, and when you're looking for a place to live, make sure it's the right place. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're, for whatever reason, we all have different needs, and then as a landlord also, it's like, make sure you have the right people. So unfortunately, that person that we mentioned, has had some kind of
Mm-hmm.
mental problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? And really belonged in some care facility or with some kind of
With a broken
special,
elevator.
right, with some kind of special care. But really, he knew that, and we found that out. But that's crazy story.
That is a
Yeah.
crazy story. I thought you were gonna say the guy said that the building was haunted or something spooky.
That has happened.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right. That's another episode. We like spooky
Yeah.
and horror over here.
Yeah. No, it's
Oh.
okay.
Wow, very interesting. So, lesson of that story is as a landlord, you really got to vet all your tenants, make sure they are qualified. And that's why, when you, like, as you said, meeting someone face to face does not hurt the situation, is definitely a positive thing to do.
Also, as a tenant, making sure that this place is right for you.
Right. Maybe he didn't want an elevator. Maybe you don't want one.
Not the elevator, but
Right,
maybe
I
you
know.
belong in a certain place where you need some kind of support,
Oh,
or
right.
or whatever. If you have kids, you're in a situation where something where, so you want to make sure you're in a place where you think out how is it going to work when we live there.
Mhm.
Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. Sometimes you don't know till you get there, but it's important to
Mhm.
try.
All right. Thank you so much. That was a good story to hear. I've never heard anything like that. So thank you.
It's okay.